It is Monday, October 23rd. We're in the Wind River Range in Wyoming, setting out on a 3 or 4 day adventure depending on how much misery I can stand over the next few nights and how much cold I can stand. I'd originally intended to go to Titcomb Basin. I don't know if we'll make it that far, if I want to go that high. May do it for the day, but we'll see. We're going to set out and see how far we get and see what we can get into. Hopefully we'll be able to stay nice and warm over the next few days. The highs are supposed to be in the low 40s and the lows up here are supposed to be somewhere in the teens. So we'll see. Head up this trail and see what it looks like. Well, I think I'm about 1.5 miles in. It has been nothing but snow the whole way. And it's thick forest, all north facing. So I'm hoping I can get at some point today on the south side and there may be a little less snow. I'd really like to find a place to camp, at least out of the snow. Hasn't been too deep on the trail or anything, so it's not too bad for walking in, but I'd like to have a dry spot to camp in if possible. And keep plugging along. Well, I've made it to Photographer's Point. First major waypoint along the way. That last mile or so I've been on been pretty treacherous, so snow's getting deeper, weather's getting colder. This is a good spot to stop and take a lunch break, find a place out of the wind, and we'll figure out a plan. This is the first real look we get on this hike of the Wind Rivers. Pretty place. Man, God did a good job on that part. Alright, so that last mile or so, snow has been getting deeper and deeper. I've been off trail several times because there's so much snow. Hard to follow where the trail is. I was the only car in the parking lot today, so there's nobody else in here, and it doesn't look like there has been, at least since this most recent snow. So following the trail's been really tough, and just more snow as I go forward, I think. So I gotta take a little lunch break and figure out what to do. Lunch today is tortillas and Mediterranean style tuna, so that'll give me some good protein and hopefully keep me going a while. I've been getting hangry the last mile or so. It's about 2 o'clock already, and I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. So I'm gonna have lunch and look at the maps. I think I may have to go back down to some lower lakes just to try to get to a more manageable snow level. I've been post-holing the last mile in snow up to my knees, and that's no fun. I just don't want to fight that for 4 days. So we'll look at a map and figure out what plan B is after we have a little lunch. Alright, I've studied the maps. I think I'm going to head back. There's a fork in the trail back here a ways. It heads down to a lake called Miller Lake. A few other lakes I can explore. I think hopefully it'll drop down low enough, maybe the snow will be a little bit less. If you can see behind me, there's a good bit of snow up here everywhere. 2 and 3 feet where it's wind blown. So I think if I stay on my intended route, it would have been just too much post holing, more snow than I want to fight. I guess there's a reason I'm the only car at the trailhead today. I thought there might be hunters up here, but I'm sure they're all lower. Nobody else dumb enough to come up in here today. So I think if I'd gone the way I intended, it just would have been too much fighting snow, and hopefully it'll be a little better at these lower lakes. So you don't control the weather. You just do the best you can, go with what you've got. So we'll go down and check out and see what this Miller Lake looks like. Well, I've made my way down, bushwhacked my way down. I never was on the trail, but I made my way down to Miller Lake. I think that's going to be the right decision. There's significantly less wind down here, and on the south side, significantly less snow. So I'm losing daylight. I need to find a relatively dry place to camp that's out of the wind. I'll check back in a minute. Alright, I've spent the last hour looking for a place to set up camp all along the south side of the lake here, trying to find something that had everything that I need. Problem is the south facing slopes melt off first, but they're slopes. So I've been up and down all through here trying to find a spot flat enough to set up camp. I think this will work. It's got everything I'm looking for other than not being close to the lake. I'm quite a ways up the hill from the lake. The lake was too windy, too exposed. No firewood down there because it's been camped around a lot. And fire is going to be really important. So I'm up above the lake quite a bit, but I've got a pretty good flat spot here for the tarp and a good spot for the fire just around behind me here. And anyway, I think we can make it work. We got to make it work because I'm running out of daylight. I'm using for my shelter tonight my MLD Trail Star, one of my favorite pieces of equipment I've ever bought. He's out of MLD is out of Virginia. I encourage you to check them out. This whole thing, it packs this small. I love it. You could probably get it smaller if you had a smaller sack. Less than 2 pounds, including all your guy lines, all your stakes, everything. And that's for a 2 or 3 person shelter. I've had me and 2 kids in it. 3 adults, you'd have to really like each other. But for a 2 person shelter, less than 2 pounds is nothing. You can't find a single person tent for that price. For 1 person, it's just a palace. Even when a lot of times I like to leave it up high. Today, because I want wind and cold, I'm going to buckle it down real low. But even with that, it's a ton of room for 1 person. So I love it. So I'm going to get to work on the ground here, getting it leveled off a bit, and we'll get this set up. All right, she's all set up. Got her strapped down pretty low with a low entrance. Pulled back tight to the ground. Still should be plenty of room inside, and hopefully keep the wind off of me pretty good. Just up from where I put my shelter, I've got this nice rock here that I'm going to use tonight to build my fire against. Reflect heat back up against me. I hate making a new fire ring. I try not to ever do that. Just can't be afforded tonight, and I've got to have a fire. So I'm going to make a fire pit with these rocks I gathered, and then I'll tear it all apart before I leave. And hopefully whatever blacking it does to this rock will wash off fairly quickly. I don't like leaving it scarred. Let's see, we're going to need to do bigger than that. Try to leave a couple flatter spots for cooking on. Something like that. This in the back. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'll have to grab a few more to put on there. And I've got to get some firewood because I am losing daylight fast. Try to check in a bit. All right. Well, we got a fire going. I made a rookie mistake. Dumb rookie mistake. I'll tell you about it tomorrow when I got some daylight and hopefully more battery life, but just dumb. But we managed to work around it. We've got fire going. I've still got to get more firewood before I can make supper. I'm going to go through it tonight because the temperature is dropping. Have my warm coat on already. May put my snow pants on over these pants just as an extra little layer of insulation. Save my long johns for when I go to bed. But it's definitely going to be chilly tonight. The fire feels good, so better get some more firewood so I can keep it going. I'll check back in if I can. Alright, I think I got some of my battery issues fixed. Fire sure feels good. I'm going to get my thermometer out in a little bit and I'll see how cold it is. The downside of being so far from the lake is I'm away from the water. Way too far that I don't want to walk down there in the dark and get some. But that's okay. No problem. I've got plenty of snow. Got some snow melting in there. It's melting fast. I can add some more and add some more and boil that up. That'll be fine, especially for making supper with. So we'll get that going. I'm about ready to eat something. Alright, I think it's time for dinner. My snow water is boiling. I didn't bring Mountain House on this trip. I've used them a lot. They're awesome. I'm not a picky eater. I think they're all taste great, but they're really bulky. I'm trying some different things this trip. I've got tonight we've got instant brown rice that I'm gonna throw in the pot, and then along with that chunk chicken. We'll mix that in there, and to give it a little flavor, I hope this will be good. Well, I can't see it down there in the dark right now. They make little cilantro cubes, like bouillon cubes of cilantro flavor. I had never seen those before. It's one of my favorite spices. I love cilantro in anything, so I hope those are good. I'm going to throw that in the rice, crumble it up in the rice with the chicken, and hopefully we'll have good cilantro chicken rice stuff here in just a few minutes. So we'll see how it turns out. Can you see the steam coming off those socks and shoes? I'm sitting here toasty warm, except my feet are freezing because they're soaking wet. Stepped in some slush somewhere along the way today, and they've been cold and wet ever since. So I'm drying my shoes and socks out a little bit. I've got warm ones to put on when I go to bed. Dry ones, but I want to put them on now because when I put my shoes on, then they're just wet. So we'll wait. We'll sit here in 30-degree weather, barefooted, drying our feet out. On a positive note, the rice looks like it turned out awesome. I don't have enough room to add the chicken, so I'm going to eat a little bit of rice and then add the chicken to it, and we'll go from there. Enjoying the fire though. Well, dinner turned out pretty good. That chicken and rice wasn't bad. I'd eat that again. 2 cilantro packets next time, flavor it up a little bit more. But that hit the spot. That was good. Got a couple little candy bars I'll eat before I go to bed, and we'll call it a night. I think I'm just going to sit by the fire and read a little bit as long as I can stand it. I am not a good sleeper. I love to go out, but I never sleep good. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. So I try to tough it out as long as I can before I go to bed, because I know I'll be up every 20-30 minutes all night. It was a good day. According to my phone, which I don't know how accurate it is, according to the phone I did just over 10 miles. I think that's probably a little high. I think it does pretty good on the level of being pretty accurate when I compare it with maps and stuff. But I think on the uphill and downhill, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but probably 9 miles anyway, and hard conditions and banging around this lake looking for a campsite and post holing off of trail. I was never on the trail to come down to this lake. When I left the other trail, I never did find it. I made my way down to the lake, found the lake just fine, but I don't think I was ever on the trail the whole time. So a lot of hard hiking. I am beat. A little disappointed I didn't get to go to Titcomb Basin how I had planned, but you don't control the weather, and I'm out and I'm seeing new country, and it's an adventure either way, and I'll have to come back when there's a little less snow and try Titcomb Basin again. So anyway, good night everybody. I'll check in with you in the morning. Good morning. It's later than it should be for me to just be getting up and around. It's about 9 o'clock. That was a long night, but not because I was cold. I stayed warm for the most part. My feet got a little chilly, but other than that, I managed to stay warm. I have a hard time sleeping when I'm out. It's just one side to the other. Everything hurts. It's not just an old man thing. I've been that way all my life. I just have trouble sleeping. I need to learn to sleep on my back. I see these guys who crawl in their sleeping bag, lay on their back, and go to sleep, and I just can't do it. And so I'm a twisted up pretzel back and forth all over and sliding off my mat and whatever. It was a long night, and I finally did go to sleep this morning early for a couple hours. So that was good, and I was comfortable, so it was all fine. Got to figure out what I'm going to do today. There's no agenda. I don't have any miles that I have to cover or any place that I have to get to, since I'm not doing the loop hike I had started out to do. So there's a couple more lakes below this Miller Lake. I think I may go and explore and just stay set up here as a base camp and go down there and hang around for the day today. So we'll see. Right now it's time to start melting some snow for coffee and for breakfast. Check in with you in a little bit. Alright, water's boiling for coffee. Time to make some breakfast. This is my food bag that I carry on multi-day trips. It's had all my food for 3 nights and 4 days in it. And what I do is, rather than just throwing all my food in there and having to dig through it, which would be a pain in the neck, and having to haul this big bag out every day, inside of there I pack a bag for every day. This one's labeled Tuesday, so that's today's bag. Then when I'm hiking, I can, during the day I can keep this in the bottom of the bag. I don't have to haul it all out. I can keep this in top of the pack so it's easy to get to when I stop for lunch or need a snack or whatever. This bag has this handy little valve on the front that you can push it, and it allows you to compress all of the air out and pack it down really small. So that comes in really handy. And let's see, for breakfast today, this is the only Mountain House I brought the whole week. This is my splurge breakfast. Their breakfast, I love everything Mountain House makes. Their breakfast, their eggs and everything is awful. But their biscuits and gravy is awesome. So that'll be a good breakfast and get me ready to go today. So I'm gonna get on warming that up. All right, I think our biscuits and gravy should be done. Let's see how they taste. Kind of makes a biscuits and gravy gruel, but pretty good. Not quite like Grandma's, but pretty good. So I think today, rather than hiking 10 miles up and down mountains, I brought fishing gear with me. I might as well try to fish. I hauled it all the way up here. I have no idea if they'll be biting this time of year with it cold as it is or not, but we'll give it a whirl. So we'll hike down to the lake and explore around down there a little bit. Maybe go over to Sweeney Lake, I don't know, the next lake down. depending on how much snow I have to go through to get there. But yeah, I think we'll get cleaned up, have breakfast, get cleaned up, and then we'll pack up and go spend the day down there. Alright, thought I'd take a minute before we head down the trail to show you the sleep system I'm using on this trip. Knew it was going to be a little bit colder than normal, and I sleep cold, so try to take precautions to stay as warm as possible. I'm using the Thermarest Saros bag. It's a 20-degree bag, which for me means 35 degrees before I start getting cold, and I'm a cold sleeper. So I knew it'd be colder than usual, and this is the limits of what I could do in this bag. I have a 0-degree bag, and it's just too bulky to get in the pack with everything else. So I got the 20-degree bag, then I brought 2 sleeping pads. I got my Thermarest pad. I can't remember the name of the brand of this one right now. But I bought both of those to give me a little extra insulation from the ground. Also, when I'm in the tarp here, to stay up off of the ground, this is just plastic sheeting for putting over your windows. In the wintertime, you can buy it at Home Depot or Lowe's. It doesn't cost much. I've been using these pieces for 4 years. They weigh nothing, they roll up to nothing, they keep you off of the wet ground. I brought 2 pieces on this trip since I knew I'd have the ground was going to be wet, so I can put my gear on the other side, keep it all dry. So that tends to work pretty well. Kept me warm last night. Looks like the lake still got ice most of that north shore over there. Pretty thin. So we'll just try it a little bit on this south shore in the sunshine. See if the fish are interested in biting. Look at that, 4th cast. Oh, he's pretty too. We got a cutthroat. Oh man, he is pretty. Look what a beauty he is. Isn't he pretty? Man, 4th cast. I think we're going to put him back. I got plenty of food to eat. We're going to let him go for another day. Got another one. I think he might be a little bigger than the first one. Man, those are pretty fish. Go All right, I've climbed the hill above the lake a little bit. Found a pre-existing fire ring. I think we'll make a little lunch. Surprised how much more ice is on the lake today than yesterday, because I think it's warmer today than yesterday. Must have been pretty cold last night. Let's eat some lunch. I told you yesterday I'd made a really dumb rookie mistake. As I was hiking in, I was probably 3 or 4 miles in, and the thought dawned on me, did you pack the lighter you bought? And I had that panicky moment where you think you did, but the back of your mind, you're afraid you didn't. So I dropped my pack and went through everything, and sure as the world, I hadn't packed it. I have a thorough checklist that I check and go over twice, and somehow the lighter, one of the most important things I bring, didn't make it into the pack. I always keep a lighter in my ditty bag, and it had run out on the last trip, and I knew I needed to buy a new one. I remembered to buy a new one, but somehow it didn't make it in there. Thankfully, you always carry a backup, and thankfully I had, because I would have had to, without fire, it'd be just too miserable. Turn around and go home. But I always keep in there also, I've got this little fire steel, which is horrible. I need to invest in a better one. This one just, I see videos of some of the others. This one just doesn't make much of a spark at all. And so, but I had it, and I fooled around with it before, and it's a pain in the butt to use. But by the time I got ready to make a fire last night, it was nearly dark, and I didn't want to fool with trying to get dry tinder and trying to get this to work and be at it all night. So I got to thinking, what else do I have that might make a spark? And you can call me a cheater if you want, and all you purists can call me a cheater. But it dawned on me, I have toilet paper, and it just seems like that might work. And so that's how I started my fire last night and this morning. And I'm going to make just a hatful of fire here, just enough to cook a little envelope of Lipton chicken noodles for lunch. So we'll see if we can get it to work again. All right, let's see if we can get this to work. Not bad. Not bad at all. And this little stuff on. So bright out here, I can't see where I have flame and where I don't. Alright, that's as bright on the lens as it is here. You probably can't see it. And we have fire. It may be cheating, but it's fire. Maybe next time I'll do a video where I use real tinder. Try to do it the right way. All right. All right, for lunch today we've got good old tortillas. But look what I found. I was so excited. I eat peanut butter and tortillas a lot, but they have these Nutella in little individual packets. So I've got a couple of those to put on each tortilla. And then on top of that, I'm going to put this mix of dried cherries and glazed walnuts. So that should be pretty filling, some protein in there, and I bet it tastes amazing. Nothing like having dessert for lunch. Then I think I'm just going to take my little cooking pot, stick it right there in the fire today. I don't need much fire, it won't take a lot to boil 8 ounces of water. We'll have a little whipped in cup of noodle soup with it, so should be good. I'm gonna sit here and eat lunch, and then I think I'm just gonna chill and read a little bit. There he is, first cast. He went up under the ice, threw it off. That's going to be a problem getting them in. The ice around the shore here. Let's try again. There's another one. See if we can get him up over this ice shelf here. That's one way to do it, I suppose. I don't believe he's cutthroat. I hadn't thought about how I'm going to put him back in the water from here with ice around the bank. The ice isn't very thick. There he goes. There you go, buddy. All right. Can't beat that. There's one. Oh. Oh, another pretty cutthroat. Man, these are the prettiest cutthroats up here. Man, look how red his belly is. So red. Hang on, buddy. Calm down there, we'll get it. All right, I hiked my way back up from the lake. It ended up being a bit of a challenge finding my camp again, but I found it. Spent some time collecting firewood, the never-ending chore. I've got a big pile of firewood laid up for tonight. Boy, as soon as that sun started dropping, so did the temperature. It was quite a bit warmer today. It was actually very pleasant outside today. It had to be at least in the 40s, if not the 50s. It was very comfortable. The fire feels good now. So anyway, I'm getting ready to cook up some supper. Tonight we're trying something else new. This is chili mix, just the kind you buy off the shelf in the store. And I've added some instant rice to it to make it a little thicker. I don't want it super soupy. I want it gruely. So, and I've got some seasonings to add to that. So hopefully that'll make an awesome pot of chili. And a special treat to go along with that. That last fish you saw me catch, he was gut hook, so he wasn't going to make it anyway. So I decided to clean him up. We'll fill him with some salt and pepper and just cook him on the coals here. Once we get a nice bed of coals going, I'll rake some of the coals down here in this lower area, and it'll make a nice little oven, and we will cook him up. So that'll be a nice treat to have on the side tonight. So And we're getting it going before dark, so that's nice. So we'll get busy making supper. Okay. So the recipe for this chili mix that you buy from the store calls for adding a can of tomato paste, which I'm not going to carry all the way up here. But I found some little tomato flavored cube things in the Hispanic aisle. I think they kind of make it tomatoey. So we added that. I've got some melted snow water here. Need to fish a couple branches and goop out of it first before I add the chili. Okay. All right, I have no idea what this is going to do with the rice and everything in there. When that cooks up, hopefully it'll be edible. So we'll set that on the fire to cook for a while. Then for our fish, I've got a little crevice down here I'm going to rake some of my coals into. It'll make a perfect little bed to cook the fish on. That's a little warm. Alright, we'll rake those coals onto there, throw the fish on there, and let him cook up. We can keep the fire going up there for the chili. We'll see how it turns out. Let's see how supper turned out. Oh yeah, that looks like chili. Perfect. I'm glad I added the rice. I knew it would be soupy if I didn't, and I didn't want super soupy. I think that's cooked long enough. Oh yeah, she'll do. That'll do. Now let's check on the fish. Hopefully this is done enough. I don't know about you, I like my fish practically burnt. I don't want it slimy. So we'll see if this guy is done enough or needs to cook a little longer. He's done. Yeah. Not bad. Oh, that's good. Perfect. All right, fish and chili. We're living high on the hog. I'll check back in with you in a little bit. That is good. Well, the sun is just about set, and so begins the long, cold wait till tomorrow morning. I hope tonight is a little smoother than last night. A long night. I was warm, but man, it was a lot of tossing and turning. So hopefully we'll sleep better tonight. Been an awesome day today. According to my phone, I banged around over 3 miles today, just up and down the hill and hiking around the lake. Fishing was awesome, and there was really only two little pockets I could fish in due to the ice. The ice is pretty thin, but like a lure would go through it, but you can't retrieve it once it does. So I just had those 2 places I could fish, but the fishing was good, so I'm not complaining about that. And just a relaxing day. There's no word to describe how much I love the stillness. to know I'm the only person in here, probably for miles around. Makes you have to be careful, because if I twist an ankle or break a leg, I'm the only person for miles and miles around. But man, I love the peace and the serenity and just being away from it all. There's nothing like it for me, nothing that I love more. So it's just been an awesome day. It's worth the fitful sleeping just to have the time of quiet. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to sit by the fire. I'm going to read a little book, read a little bit. I might end up reading a lot, but I'm going to sit here by the fire as long as I can stand it, and then hit the bed. I will check in with you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's about 8 o'clock. Been up a little bit. I've already had the first cup of coffee. A lot better night last night. I tossed and turned only a normal amount for me last night, which means I probably woke up 10 times instead of 20. But I was a lot more comfortable. I wasn't hurting as bad as I was the night before, so that was good. Slept warm, stayed nice and toasty. Had my first cup of coffee this morning. Now cooking up a little breakfast today. Got cinnamon spice oatmeal, which is tolerable. Better if you put a packet of M&Ms in it. Makes it a lot more tolerable. And I'll just go ahead and eat it right out of the package here. Oatmeal dishes are the worst dishes, especially when you're limited on water and milk and snow. So I'll just eat it right out of here, and that'll be breakfast. And we'll figure out a plan for the day. All right, breakfast is in the books. That oatmeal actually tasted pretty awesome. Anything warm tastes good when it's cold outside. That tasted really good. The sun's getting up, it's warming up quite a bit, starting to get comfortable out. Just trying to figure out the plan for today. I need to stop planning trips where I do it this way, where, for instance, all I have to look forward to tomorrow is get up at 5 or 6 o'clock, pack up as fast as I can, and hike out of here so I can get home. I've got a 4 or 5 hour drive to get home, and a lot to do before I have to go back to work. So there's nothing to look forward to tomorrow except just rush. Where I can spend the whole day here today, do everything I would have done today, chill, relax, hang out today, pack up and hike home this afternoon. And all I lose in that plan is a long cold night trying to sleep. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Since I don't lose anything, I'm just going to hang out today. I'm going to study a bit today, enjoy the sunshine, hang out, take my time packing up, and hike out late this evening. And that'll put me that much closer to home. So I think that's going to be the plan today. I'm going to finish this cup of coffee, and we'll think about what to do next. Well, I got the tarp all packed up. One of the other things I love about that tarp is it gives you the ability to pack up out in the open. You don't have to be all hunched up in a tent trying to find space to roll up your sleeping pads. You got plenty of room to do that and spread everything out. You can just see from the floor plan of the plastic I have down how big the floor plan of that tarp is. It is really a lot of space for not much weight. I highly recommend it. So much more space than a lot of those little lightweight one-man tents are. Just, you can't even sit up in them, a lot of them. And they still weigh more than this tarp. And so, I don't know. For me, it's a win-win in about every way over a tent. So I'm getting the packing up done, because then I can do the chilling better when I don't have the packing hanging up over my head. So we're gonna get packed up and then we'll hang out a while. Well, it's been a really nice, relaxing day, but it's time to get out of here, start the long hike home. I could go back down to the lake, but it's about half a mile. I could go half a mile down to the lake and try to find the Miller Lake Trail and go back up to the Titcomb Basin Trail. But that's just a mile down and half a mile down and half a mile back up that I don't want to do. So I'm going to try to just bushwhack my way through until I intersect with that Titcomb Basin Trail. Should be just over the half a mile or a mile, I'm not sure how far, above me here. So we're just going to bushwhack straight through that. That may end up being a huge mistake, but we'll see how it turns out. Time to get going. All right, good news is I found the Titcomb Basin Trail. Anybody who knows me knows that whatever gene God gives you that gives you a sense of direction, I was born without it. I don't have one. I can get lost anywhere. So thankfully that little bushwhack through the woods didn't take me too long to find it, and I'm on the right trail. Heading back toward the car. It's actually a lot harder walking today than it was on the way in, just because it's been so warm. Before, the snow was crusty. Now it's all just mushy, sloppy. So that's making it a little bit more difficult. It's like the only footprints I'm seeing are my footprints from on the way in, so I have been the only person in here for the last 3 days. How awesome is that? Now we just got to do the hard hike back to the car. All right, I think we're getting close to the car. Another half a mile. 3/4 of a mile or so. This will probably be the last time I check in. Sure hope you've enjoyed this. If you do, give me a thumbs up. If there's something you'd like to see that wasn't on this video, let me know. If there's something that bored you to tears that shouldn't be on here, let me know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. I'll check in with you next time.